Okay, I got her. Do my little seat test again. Rock it. I'll probably tighten that, like I say, just a hair further. I didn't really move it any. That should be, that looks really close. And see, I've got my 3 washers and the 3 nuts that came in with the caps. But that's to install this back. Now see, what they tell you to do is, let's look at this here for a second. Let's look at this here. Okay. Here, this all came in place just like this. Okay, so I'm going to set that down, and then they tell you to put a washer. They tell you to put a washer and a nut on there, and then you're just going to make it snug on these. Okay, and here's one thing I don't like about that, and they don't give you anything more than that. When you get ready to tighten it down onto this, let's just, I've got a little idea here. Okay, you're gonna have this metal washer and the nut. It's going to be underneath here. Okay, and you're going to tighten that up. And if you tighten it too much, I'm telling you, you tighten it too much, you could crack this. You could crack it over here, and they just tell you make it snug and do, you know, tighten one a little bit, and then tighten another one a little bit, and then tighten another one a little bit, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Don't try to suck one side down and then tighten the other side. Okay, I did you know, 8 turns over here. Now I'm going to do 8 turns over there. Don't do that, because you might have this side too tight. So when you go to try to tighten that, maybe something cracks. So you remember, I got these little plastic vinyl ones that I'm not using. Remember, I can take 3 of these, could I not? I could take 3, and I could put that down first, up there, up underneath. Then I'll put the washer, then I'll put the nut. Okay, so as I'm tightening it, I'm not tightening metal right to the underneath side of the porcelain. This is going to give me just a slight cushion if I do that, won't it? Now that doesn't mean I can still tighten this to my heart's content and know that I'm not going to crack it. I could still crack it that way, but this is going to give me just a hair of a security blanket that I can do it that way. Okay, I've seen some places where they'll give you a rubber washer that's maybe 1/8 of an inch thick, that you put the rubber washer down first, then the metal, then the nut. Do you know what I mean? That's how I'd have to do it sometimes too. It just depends how the manufacturer gives you the tank and how they set it up, because some don't give you it all like this, that it's already tight, that this is sticking out. Maybe it's only this bit here, and then these, that's where your little washer is. But see, that washer is on, that rubber gasket is on top. So that rubber gasket is going to sit on top of here, not underneath. But in others, they give you a washer for there for both sides. So see, it's like not all toilet manufacturers are created equal or have the same way to install stuff. That's why you got to read the directions and put it in according to their directions. Okay, so that's my next step, setting this carefully and gently up on top of the toilet bowl. See, I'm looking at this next step here. I put the toilet on, I tighten up the bolts, put the cap. They said put the caps on. I'm not going to put the caps on just yet because I may loosen up that bottom and slide it if I need to, okay? Here's the next step. Alternately tighten the nuts to evenly draw the tank to the bowl. Do not over tighten. All right? Then confirm the tank is level, adjust as needed. Before, and then the next step, connect and turn on the water supply. Do not over tighten. Because see, that water supply is just a plastic nut with plastic threads on it, and the nut connection for that is just plastic. See here? That's just plastic too. So lots of things, do not over tighten. And on the other things, do not over tighten there because you don't want to crack the base. Do not over tighten here because you don't want to crack this. And trust me, those things can crack. I've seen it happen. I've never cracked one before, but I know a few people who have. Then once you crack it, it's all over. You got to take it back to the store. Box it all up, take it back to the store. And because it came as all one piece, maybe you just cracked the base and you only need the base and you're okay with this, but you got to take the whole thing back to the store to get it because it all came, this particular one, all came in one box. Be careful. Okay, let's just set this up there. I took my gloves off to make sure that that it doesn't want to slide on me. Oh, isn't that weird? I see. I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna look at this some more. I'm gonna look at this again. So I've got the full, complete understanding of what's happening here. Because the bit inside looks like it's got to slide in further. Okay. Wow. I've got to tighten that up because on the inside there's the nut looks like it's plastic and it's got rubber on it, and that's gonna seal down on there. So you can't just make it snug on there. You've got to keep pulling it, tightening it up more until the inside bit pulls in tighter too, it looks like. Okay. We'll look at those directions a little bit more. I don't think they're very, they don't go into too much detail here. So, alternately tighten the nuts to evenly draw the tank to the bowl. And that's all they say. That's all they say. Okay? But that inside bit has to pull. So, because you don't want to leak there either. So it's going to be little by little tightening it down. And I mean, worst case scenario, if you have to tighten more, then you just keep tightening, you know? Isn't that weird? It's like the bolts aren't even coming down all the way. Yeah, that's gonna have to, that sucks down, isn't that? You'd think it would just kind of plop right in there. And this you have to get it situated in the right place, not out too much, not in too far and stuff. So it looks like I'm positioned about about right. Might have to get my my flashlight out to make sure that contoured is right in there, just right. Okay, so yeah, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Just be careful though. If you got somebody here to help you, they can kind of hold this while you're rummaging around for your light and all that kind of stuff. Last thing you want is for that to fall. But if you don't get that situated exactly right before you start tightening it, this could come out at askew out this way or pushed in that way, if you know what I mean. I've done it before and then I had to readjust. So I'm going to have to look at this and make sure once I tighten it down that it's going in the proper way. Because right now my bolt head isn't even coming out yet. And I'm going to have to kind of push on this a little bit just to get the nut started. That seems kind of hokey. You know, we'll see. We shall see.